Hello everyone, my name is G. Banawan. Welcome to the new discussion. Today we will talk about the theories of cognitive development by Jane Piaget. So we have here the table of contents. So first we have the introduction of Jane Piaget. So followed by the definition cognitive development. Next we have the concept of proposing to Jane Piaget, the schema, assimilation, accumulation, and equilibration. Followed by the Piaget's four stages of cognitive development. We were going to tackle the sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, and formal operational stage. And lastly, we have the implication in education to the Jane Piaget theory. First and foremost, before we talk about the different stages of development, let's have a quick review of what theories is all about. We all know that Freud is known for psychoanalytic theory. So Piaget, or Jane Piaget, in 1896 to 1980, is a Swiss psychologist who became a leading theorist in 1930s. So Piaget believed that the children are active thinkers constantly trying to construct more advanced understanding of the world. So Piaget developed a theory of cognitive development by observing his own children's behavior and a certain task during infancy and childhood. Piaget specified four major periods corresponding to the different ages of developing child. So what is the cognitive development? So the cognitive development, it means how children think, explore, and figure things out. So in Piaget's view, early cognitive development, it involves the process based upon the actions, later the progress to change mental operations. So that means it helps children to think about and understand the world around them. So maybe we have noticed that there is a changes of a child, right? So now let's talk about the sub-concept or propose of Jane Piaget. So first, we have schema. Schema is an assumption that individual has the self of others or the world. So building a blocks of a knowledge. So we have a lot of schemas in our mind. So we have assumption that the candy is sweet, that another is we know that how apple looks like, so we know that how dogs looks like. So those are some actions that we need to understand or trying to understand how the world works. Now, so what is the difference of assimilation and accumulation? So when we say assimilation, it is the process by which we incorporate new information into existing schemas. So say for example, so a child know how horse looks like. So one day, her mother brought him to the zoo. So a child see a striped animal, and he called it a horse rather than a zebra. So he assimilated the knowledge that is a child may call the striped animal they see at the zoo horse rather than a zebra. So maybe a child first time they encounter to see a zebra. Okay, so how to apply accumulation? So when we say accumulation, it is the new information or experience cause you to modify your existing schemas. So the mother will say, no honey, that is zebra, not a horse. So on that experience, a child will now understand the difference between the horse and a zebra, right? So we called it accumulation because we apply the new information to a child, okay? Now we have equilibration. Equilibration is the process of balancing assimilation and schemas that fit in the environment. So as we grow older, as we mature, so we balance assimilation and accumulation. So in order for us to adapt actively in our environment. So for example, putting something in your mouth. So a child, so there's a lot to put in our mouth, right? So there's a possibility a child tend to put an object. So basically, he assimilating. So like he saw a tissue paper that There is a tendency that he put in his mouth, so what are certain things not put in the mouth. So say for example, another example is money or coins. So we apply equilibration. So there are four stages of cognitive development by Jane Piaget. So first we have here the sensory motor stage at the age 0 to 2. So during this stage, baby develop their first schemas by using their senses. So coordinating of senses with motor response, sensory curiosity about the world. So using your nose, using your eyes, sense of touch, sense of smell, so sense of hearing, and so on. So we tend to learn how the world works. So say for example, so at this stage, we have a baby in our home. Then she accidentally dropped your cell phone on the floor. And because of that, your screen cracked. So at this stage, we should not punish a child behavior. The child is not aware the possible consequences of behavior because she's still learning of how the world works. Okay, so the way the child act on this stage, so we should be careful the things that close for them. So at this stage, so they can play a peekaboo. So it develops their object permanence. So what is object permanence? So it is the ability to know that an object exists even when it's not being seen. So say for example here, as you can see there is a stuffed toy blocking in the middle of a child view. So but child still knows that once they belong object permanence, he knows that object continues to exist even not visible. So how will we know that the child develop object permanence? So if a child keeps looking for it, if he keeps looking for a stuffed toy, because he knows that he's still there and he knows that that is hidden. Okay, so that is a sign that they develop object permanence. Okay, or so that is a part of sensory motor stage at the age 0 to 2. Next, we have the pre-operational stage at the age 2 to 5 years old. So, a child learning to talk, their imagination and institution are strong but complex, abstract thoughts still difficult. So, as you can see in the picture, they engage to tend to play a doctor, a teacher, a superhero, so a patient. So, at this stage, they tend to be an egocentric. So, egocentric is an ability to see and understand other people's viewpoints. Okay, so at this stage, children are not capable to have a conversation on an object. Okay, so here the example. So, as you can see, there is a child. Okay, so there is a cloud. Okay, a teacher asks a child which mountain closest to the cloud. And then obviously a child, he chose the mountain A that he believed that mountain A is closest to the cloud. Okay, so we can see here that a children there are not yet capability to understand perspective of other people. So that we call an egocentric. We have concrete operational stage at the age 6 to 11 years old. So more frequent and more accurate use of logical transformation and operations. So the child can think more logically about physical reality. Okay, so at this stage, children has already starting developing. So they can think logically in a child capable to operations. For example, so some basic mathematical operations like 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, so and make a sense. So at this stage, children appreciate a magic. Okay, so that happen logically because of not supposed to happen. Okay, then another is a children able to tell or retell the story of what is wrong, like in TV shows, like she watch Paw Patrol or Peppa Pig. So you know, a children can make a sense on it. what is wrong on the TV shows. Under the concrete operational stage, we have conservation. Conservation can be defined as the understanding that changes in the form of an object do not necessarily mean changes in the quantity of the object. Okay, so there are not necessary to selfish. Okay, so it's just like that they are not yet capable to understand how another person think or feel. Okay, so they are starting to trying to develop their capability. So here are the example of not yet capable of conservation. So as you can see here, there is a boy and two containers of water. Okay, and then a teacher used a graduated cylinder to transfer the water into a taller container. Okay, and then as we can see after the empty glass taken away, a, a teacher asked a child to choose which is contains more water, either the $1 container or the small container. So the child tend to believe that the $1 container contains more water than the smaller container. Okay, so even though there is not enough evidence that the $1 containers contains more water, we can see that a child capable to think logically limited in physical reality. Okay, so we can ask them which contain more basket, like two basket of apples or one basket of apple. So from time to time, it developed conservation. So we apply the reversibility. Okay, we have here the reversibility can be defined as the understanding that some things that have been changed can be returned to their original state. So at this stage, a child's no can answer the which contains more of water. So there's ability to say that there is no change quantity of water. So the fourth stage, the formal operational stage, at the age 12 and up. So a child have an abstract reasoning, metacognition's ability to reflect upon one's thinking, scientific reasoning. So at this stage, so a child can form an hypothesis, they analyze the result or examine the result. So they begin examining his or her rules. So in short, their ability to think about reflecting on one thinking. Okay, so they know his place or her place on this world. Okay, so another is they able to continue in advance to lead to many notable milestones. So the implication of Jean Piaget theory is adaptation of instruction to its learner developmental level. So it is important to the content with a development level of the learners. So the teacher's role to facilitate learning by providing a variety of experience for students. According to Jane Piaget, so children require long and interrupted periods of play and explorations. So that means a children can discover things for themselves. If we truly believe they are capable for socializing, problem solving, and creating complex system with rules, then we can successfully use spontaneous observation to capture a child's development as it unfolds naturally. So here are the example stages of cognitive development by Jane Piaget. So first we have sensory motor stage that its child begin to interact with the environment. Second, we have pre-operational stage that the child begin to represent the word symbolically. Third, concrete operational stage, the child learn rules such as conservation. Fourth, we have formal operational stage that are capable abstract reasoning and they think about the future. So that is the highlight of the cognitive development. So that is my discussion about the theory of cognitive development by Jen Piaget. So thank you very much for listening and God bless.